a low hum rising beneath your feet. You see a sleek sedan gliding past, silent, yet potent. Electric vehicles, celebrated as the harbingers of a clean transport revolution, are commonly said to run on electricity. But if electricity were a single pure fuel like gasoline, we'd have solved the energy puzzle by now. The truth is far more intricate, weaving together global power plants, advanced chemistry, highly efficient motors, regenerative brakes, and two-way grid intelligence. Today, we lift the hood on that sophisticated ecosystem and uncover what really propels EVs, from their charging cords to the wheels that spin, and how this web will reshape America's future. It begins hundreds of miles away, at power stations burning coal, natural gas, or harnessing wind and sunlight. Around the globe, 61% of the electricity we generate still comes from fossil fuels. Coal at 35%, gas at 23%, and other hydrocarbons at 3%, while the remaining 39% splits between nuclear power and renewables like hydro, wind, and solar. In the United States, about 60% of electricity is fossil-fueled, 19% nuclear, and 21% renewable. This grid is more than infrastructure. It's the hidden fuel supply chain for every EV charge. For Americans, that means the emissions and economic impact of your next road trip depend heavily on where and when you plug in. Charge in coal-heavy West Virginia, and your EV's carbon footprint can approach that of a hybrid. Plug in Washington State, with its hydropower backbone, and you slash emissions by more than half. But raw electricity is only half the story. That juice funnels into an intricate device, the lithium-ion battery. Far from a simple box, it's a mosaic of rare minerals: graphite, aluminum, nickel, copper, manganese, cobalt, lithium, totaling nearly 185 kilograms of raw materials for a typical 60-kilowatt pack. Mining lithium alone can guzzle 500,000 liters of water per ton, often in water-stressed regions. Cobalt mining raises ethical questions. Manufacturing emits 60 to 90 kilograms of CO2 per kilowatt-hour of battery capacity. Yet these batteries also unlock unmatched energy density, storing enough for hundreds of miles on a single charge. Once charged, the magic unfolds. Electric motors convert stored energy into motion with staggering efficiency. Up to 91% of the electricity becomes wheel power. By contrast, gasoline engines convert only 16 to 25% of fuel into motion, with diesel slightly better at 35 to 45%. With fewer moving parts and near-instant torque, electric drivetrains sidestep much of the waste heat and friction that plague their combustion counterparts. And then, there's regeneration. Regenerative braking. Lift your foot off the accelerator, or tap the brakes, and the motor reverses roles, acting as a generator. It recovers kinetic energy, converting it back into electricity to recharge the battery. This technology can claw back a significant slice of lost energy and dramatically extend range in stop-and-go traffic. But electric vehicles are now doing more than passively consuming power. They're transforming into mobile energy assets in a concept known as vehicle-to-grid, or V2G. With bidirectional chargers, your car becomes a giant battery on wheels, ready to feed electricity back to the grid at peak demand or power your home during an outage. Imagine charging your EV on a sunny afternoon when solar output is abundant, then drawing that stored energy back on a hot evening to avoid expensive peak rates. For utilities, fleets of V2G-enabled vehicles offer gigawatt-scale flexibility, smoothing supply, integrating renewables, and potentially saving billions in infrastructure costs. Layer on smart charging, and EVs become dynamic participants in the energy market. Algorithms shift charging to times of cheap, clean energy. Weekday nights when wind turbines spin furiously, or weekends when rooftop solar floods the grid. This not only eases stress on local transformers and prevents blackouts, but also ensures that the electrons flowing into your battery are increasingly green. Yet none of these advances change a crucial reality. Electric vehicles don't exist in a vacuum. Their true environmental impact must be measured across their entire life cycle, from mining and manufacturing to daily driving and eventual recycling. Building an EV does start with a higher carbon bill, 10 to 14 metric tons of CO2 for the vehicle, versus 6 to 9 tons for a typical gasoline car. But that carbon debt is usually repaid within the first 2 years of driving, thanks to cleaner operation and superior efficiency. Over a decade, EVs produce roughly 60 to 70% fewer emissions than fossil fuel vehicles in the US, even accounting for electricity generation. In regions with cleaner grids, that savings can reach 80% or more. Looking ahead, the story will only grow more complex and cleaner. New battery chemistries like sodium-ion may reduce reliance on critical metals. Direct lithium extraction promises to slash water use, and closed-loop recycling will reclaim precious materials for multiple vehicle generations. Meanwhile, power grids worldwide are on a rapid decarbonization trajectory, with wind and solar now accounting for the lion's share of new generation capacity. For the United States, this intricate energy web presents both challenges and opportunities. Securing ethical, sustainable mineral supplies is a geopolitical priority as the Biden administration invests in domestic battery manufacturing. Upgrading grid infrastructure for two-way flows will test regulators and utilities, but promises a more resilient energy network. Workforce training for technicians, engineers, and software developers will determine who seizes the next wave of job growth. And as America competes with China for leadership in battery technology, grid management, and next-generation EV platforms, the stakes extend far beyond the next model year. The misleading shorthand, "EVs run on electricity," obscures how deeply entwined our transportation future is with global energy systems. Electric cars stand at the nexus of renewable power, fossil fuel transition, materials science, and digital grid management. They aren't just vehicles. They're mobile power plants, grid stabilizers, and harbingers of a new energy economy. So here's the question we leave you with. As the ecosystem behind electric vehicles grows ever more sophisticated, will the United States be ready to harness its full potential and ensure that the silent hum of the EV revolution is powered by a truly clean, secure, and equitable energy future?